So, crypto people, the markets are seeing a little bit of green right now. The S&P saw a new all-time high right now, and a lot of people are anticipating more pumps in the market moving into tomorrow when we have some key news events happening, the inflation data that's going to be coming out, and a few other different reports. And right now, there's mixed perspectives. Are we going to be dumping or are we going to be pumping? All eyes are on September rate cuts. A lot of people have been talking about how we're going to be dumping through September, and then in October, we're going to start to see that pump. But right now, like how I said, there's a whole bunch of mixed perspectives, and in today's video I want to walk you through those perspectives. One, to anticipate moving into tomorrow with the markets, because you should be expecting crazy volatility, and by the time you're watching this video, more than likely it's already Friday and we're already seeing that volatility. So with all that being said, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I keep you updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and everything you need to be aware of. Right now, some people believe that we're going to be pumping, others believe that there's too much profit in the markets and that we're going to be dumping. A lot of mixed perspectives right now, which is why you need to be walking through the price action on Bitcoin, around Ethereum, and altcoins, and these perspectives to understand exactly how to position yourself. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the charts and what you should be looking at. So, crypto people, the markets are seeing a little bit of a pump, a little bit of a correction after the massive dumps that we've been seeing in the markets after, the crazy whole fiasco with these, dropping a whole bunch of Bitcoin, and then on top of that, economic events and multiple other different things. But markets are ranging right now, guys. Everyone is anticipating either a huge move up with, perspectives from like Killa taking longs in the market and, anticipating 116K. Other investors like Dr. Profit talking about how the markets are in too much profit right now, and we could be potentially seeing a correction based off of short positions that specific investors have been taking. There is that specific crucial zone with Bitcoin holding above 112K, which we are currently sitting at right now, which a lot of people are talking about how if we don't hold this region, we're going to be seeing some nasty corrections. We did see the initial claims come out. Benjamin Cohen has talked about his perspectives on what he thinks is going to be happening in the markets, and he doesn't think no recession is going to be coming until pretty much initial claims are at a specific zone, guys. But right now, lots of news around specific sectors, lots of new all-time highs for specific charts. On top of that, key news events that are going to be happening. So all this is super important. And right now, with the markets ranging, you need to be keeping up with all this information. Ethereum right now, guys, has been holding quite strong, but we're either on the verge of a pump or a dump. And moving into tomorrow, I'm sure a lot of people are anticipating upwards price action. But are we going to be able to break that 4,800 region that was holding us down? I honestly do not believe so, but only in due time will we figure it out. I have an altcoin portfolio, so obviously I want, altcoins to start running. I want Ethereum to start running. But based off of the corrections and exactly what is anticipating moving into September, I am honestly not expecting anything super crazy. And, this is where you need to understand these perspectives. Altcoins are ranging, also following the price action around Ethereum. So if Ethereum starts to dump, guess what's going to happen with altcoins? Yes, you guessed it. They're going to dump as well. Bitcoin dominance has been seeing a little bit of a correction, but has been seeing that dump as well. And this is correlating to the fact on how the altcoin markets are looking, alt pairs against Bitcoin and everything like that. And we're either on a huge run, we're either about to see a huge run for Bitcoin dominance, or again, another deviation. So with all this being said, there's some key news events that I've been keeping you updated with as the week has progressed. This has caused fluctuations in the US markets, crypto markets, and just buyer sentiment in general. But tomorrow we have some important information coming out with the MI consumer sentiment data and the July PCE inflation data. So this is going to have a big effect on the market, especially with everyone getting paid on Fridays, everyone moving into exactly all the news events and everything taking place. Anticipate a lot of volatility, whether it's already Friday and you're watching this video end of Friday and you already know the volatility, or you're watching this right before everything, which is why it's super important to like, comment, subscribe, guys, so that you're up to date with all the time sensitive information. But S&P put in a new all-time high, 6,500, first time in history. And this goes on to say, markets are looking good, but massive corrections are anticipated across the board. Specific sectors are performing in specific ways that are just based off of exactly how the economy is looking right now, exactly how rate cuts are anticipated moving into September, and how a few things are not looking too stable. We're also looking at other economies and other charts from other countries, which is really pointing to the fact on exactly how global liquidity is moving and how money in general is looking in the market. So this is all super important information, but right now, nothing to really get your mind all bottled around. More just the key news events that are going to be happening tomorrow. Now, we did see a ton of USDT minted at the Tether Treasury, and this is something that Killer XBT was talking about because he's longing right now on Bitcoin. And usually whenever I see, traders and analysts putting their money where their mouth is, this is where I start to, look into exactly their perspectives and what they're anticipating. He's anticipating this move based off of exactly specific CME gaps and, a lot of other different variations of trend lines and, a monthly lows, stuff like that, guys. We talked about it in previous videos and like where liquidity is at, all that good stuff. And right now, this is where he thinks a lot of this is going to be going into fruition. He says just might take 1 week longer to fill the gap above as we are rejecting the weekly open into the weekend, 113.5K. And he goes on to talk about exactly the pretty much USDT that has been printed. He says historically, when we print 3 to 5 billion USDT, it always results in upside movement for Bitcoin. Will this time be any different? Look at the tweets he quoted below and decide for yourself. And he quotes specific ranges we have seen and whenever they printed USDT and then the massive pumps that we saw. So this is where people are putting validation where they believe is going to be what's going to be happening. And based off of that, guys, and exactly how the markets are, moving right now, I could be seeing some upside in the markets. But you also have people like Dr. Profit who have been putting shorts in the 117 to 115K range area. So this is super important to really understand. Mainly because this is where, a lot of people have different perspectives. Some people are longing the market, some people are shorting the markets based off of the data and information and their validation. He goes on to say, we started building shorts last week in the 117 to 115K range, adding 10% daily over 10 days. Bitcoin is still outside our short/sell zone. If price returns to our short box, we'll keep stacking 10% daily until the area is fully loaded. Till then, enjoy your profits. And he goes on to talk more about how most of crypto investors are in profit. I mean, not altcoin investors. You're feeling that pain, I'm feeling that pain. Regardless, he says 90% of Bitcoin investors are in profit, 98% of all ETH investors are in profit, 92% of all XRP investors are in profit, and 100% of all BNB investors are in profit. There is too much profit in the markets. And this is where he thinks that a lot of people are going to start taking profits off of the table, and as a result, we're going to be seeing a dump. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a gradual just rip up to that zone where he's talking about, that 117K region that gets Killer XBT to his specific zone that he was targeting, 116.7K, and then more likely we see deviations from that zone. Crypto Mitchell now, like how I said, he says it remains crucial. If Bitcoin can hold above 112K, we'll probably face can't hold above 112K, we'll probably face a very ugly correction across the board. Probably the final one, and then we're up only for the coming period. And this is where I believe that we're going to be pumping, then we're going to see that nasty dump, and then from there, I think that we're actually going to start seeing the huge run for all of our assets across the board. This is what Dr. Profit was talking about a while ago, which is why you need to be keeping up with the information on my channel. I talked about this, I broke it down, so I'm not going to repeat all of it. If you want to see it in another video, drop me a comment and I'll be sure to break it all back down. But right now, this is where we're waiting for more data, waiting for more information. Benjamin Cohen talks about exactly what he thinks is going to be happening, and until we see a specific range for initial claims, no recession is, in talks. Right now, though, the crypto markets are seeing a little bit of green, trading sideways, ranging right now, and we're anticipating how the close is going to be looking tomorrow. to be honest with you, I'm going to put in my predictions. I think everything is going to pump really hard, and then from there we're going to be seeing massive corrections over the weekend. Exactly what we saw last week. But this is where, a lot of people are anticipating different perspectives just based off of exactly what you're investing in and, how you're positioning yourself in the markets. Altcoins right now are seeing deviations, some seeing pumps. Like I said, everything is ranging right now. So best thing you can do is just dollar cost average and wait for more information to come out. But everyone's already calling for altcoin season, which is why most people are already allocated to the positions that they truly believe in. But guys, that is currently what is taking place. Right now, we have some key events that are going to be happening tomorrow or today by the time you're watching this video, or it's already the end of the day and we've already seen the pumps and maybe a little bit of a correction. Either or, we're going to be expecting some crazy stuff closing out the week. On top of that, we saw a whole bunch of USDT, printed, which has people like Killer XBT talking about how potentially we're going to be seeing pumps for Bitcoin because historically that's what we've seen. But we also see people like Dr. Profit who are shorting the market, hitting that 117K range, and from there are anticipating lows hitting to, the low 100s, potentially even below that zone. So right now it's super important to be anticipating all this information, how to position yourself, dollar cost average into altcoins right now if you're an altcoin investor, and just keep up with everything else that's going on. But if you guys are new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you updated with the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. Right now is a super important time, guys. If you're not keeping up with all of this information, the day-to-day events, you are going to be left in the dust. And whenever it's time to sell, you're probably not going to sell. Whenever it's time to buy, you're not going to be buying. Lots of different things, guys. Keep up to date with this information. If you're new to the channel, drop me a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the content. Let me know what you think about altcoins. Let me know what you think about the markets in general. And, currently what you're doing. But I drop day-to-day content every single day. So stay tuned, and hopefully I catch you in the next one. Peace.